Hello, it's Miss O, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about who versus whom, which tends to be a very troublesome battle for most people when it comes to the English language. And I'll go ahead and admit that it's been difficult for me to understand as well, but I think I sorted it out and I want to tell you what I found. Okay, so in order to really understand the difference between who and whom, it's important to understand what nominative case is and what objective case is. Nominative case happens when nouns and pronouns are used as subjects. So anytime a noun or a pronoun is acting as a subject in a sentence, that is nominative case. The subject pronouns are I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. And an example here with my favorite sentence, I like cheeseburgers, I'm using the pronoun I here as the subject in this sentence. So that is nominative case. Objective case happens when nouns and pronouns are used as objects in a sentence. Basically, when I say objects here, I mean that they are not treated as the subject. So, objective case pronouns include me, us, you, him, her, it, and them. And an example here is, we went to the movies with her. So here we are using the pronoun we as the subject, but the pronoun her is referring to an object in this sentence because her is not actually our subject in this sentence. That makes it objective case. And if you're ever trying to figure out the subject of a sentence, you're looking at whatever is receiving the verb, whatever's doing something in that sentence. So here, her is not doing something in the sentence, or she, but rather we are doing something in the sentence because we went to the movies. Okay, so who is nominative case, meaning that it is a subject. So anytime you're going to use the pronoun who, then that means that you're referring to the subject in a sentence. For example, the person who communicates effectively on the job is usually successful. Who receives the action of the verb communicates, so that tells us right there that who is referring to the subject here. Whom is objective case, meaning that it is an object. So, the job was given to Dimitri, whom you recommended. So here in this sentence, the subject of the sentence is actually the word job. And the verb would be was given in this sentence. Dimitri, however, is an object of this sentence, and that is the person that whom is referring to. So because we are referring to Dimitri and Dimitri is not our subject, we use the pronoun whom. Another trick that I have been taught, that I played around with a little bit, and it started to make a little bit of sense to me, is the idea that who is interchangeable with he or she, and whom is interchangeable with him or her. Let's try it out. So here, I have the question, who do they think will be elected? What I did with this question was I actually turned the question into a declarative sentence, so I made a statement out of it. And when I make a statement out of it, we can interchange in either he or she for the word who. So they do think he or she will be elected. That's one example. This next one, whom did you tell about the new rewards program? So here, if I change this into a declarative sentence, I state, you did tell him or her about the new rewards program. And I just want to make a note here too that even though I'm writing he or she and him or her, the idea here is that you would only list one of those words. So if the sentence makes sense with you did tell her about the new rewards program, then that's what I'm going for here. So because I can put in him or her in that sentence, then that means that whom is the correct pronoun to use. Next, we wondered whom the book was about. This one, I'm actually switching up the order a little bit to see if I can substitute in him or her. So here I wrote, we wondered if the book was about him or her. And so there, because him works in a case like that, rather than he or she. We wondered if the book was about she. We wouldn't really say that. Nor would we say we wondered if the book was about he. But we can say we wondered if the book was about him. So because him or her works in this example, then whom, again, is the correct pronoun to use. And then lastly, Peter, who conducts our diversity training, has his own consulting firm. So this one I actually turned into 2 sentences because we kind of have, we have a positive here with the section that is offset by commas where it says who conducts our diversity training. So I've got 2 sentences here to break this one down. Peter has his own consulting firm. He conducts our diversity training. So we wouldn't say him conducts our diversity training. Rather, we would need to say he does. So because it's he, we know that who would be the correct pronoun to use in a case like that. Also, this one's kind of easy, or at least I thought it was, because who is referring directly to who our subject is. And so because we know that anything that's going to be nominative case or subjects is who, that one seemed like a pretty easy example for me. So, whenever you are in doubt, you should determine what the pronoun in question is referring to. So if you are referring to your subject in any way, or any sort of a word that is receiving the verb, then you're always going to use who. So here I've written action equals who. If it receives the action or the verb, you're going to use who. If it gets no action, no action whatsoever, then you're going to use the word whom as far as which pronoun is the one that you use. Most people, though, I feel, are moving away from the whom aspect of things. A lot of us tend to just substitute in the word who, which begs the question of whether or not even knowing the difference between who and whom is completely relevant anymore with modern day English. But it's something I get asked about a lot in the classroom, so I figured I'd do my diligence and try to sort it out. Definitely wasn't easy, though.